Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lone Tree Art Center's presentation of the National Geographic series. I'm Gene Myers, CEO of Thrive Home Builders. Our company has three legs to our brand: efficient, healthy, and local. Efficient for energy efficiency, healthy for indoor air quality and the health of our customers, and local because we're just like you. We're just local here in the Denver area. You know, as I was living through part of this pandemic summer and the Front Range was affected so severely with all of the smoke from the fires, it occurred to me that our health mission has to go beyond just the health of our occupants. Now more than ever, it's important that we think beyond the walls of our homes to the health of our planet. And that's the area of alignment that we have with National Geographic. They've been at this for 132 years, not only drawing our attention to the wonders of the world, but also to the peril that it faces. And so that's our alignment. We're so happy to participate with the Lone Tree Art Center to bring this series to you. And I hope you'll sit back and enjoy this evening's presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lisa Rigsby Peterson, the Executive Director of the Lone Tree Art Center, and I'm so glad that you're joining us to learn a little bit more about what's to come in early 2021 with our National Geographic Live Speaker Series. I want to say a quick thank you to Gene Myers and Thrive Home Builders, as well as to Don and Betty Winslow with the Andrews Winslow Foundation. Both of those sponsors have been sponsors of this series since the very beginning, when some of you may remember our audiences were a little smaller than they are now. And it was their great support over the years that allowed us to continue to let this series build until it became the beloved series that we know today. I can tell you that we miss you. We miss seeing you in the audience. We really miss our National Geographic Live speakers. Tonight, we get to tell you some exciting news about how we're going to be able to, with the help of National Geographic Live, engage you again with some of those amazing stories and amazing images. We have a guest with us tonight. I'm happy to welcome Andrew Pudva. And Andrew is the production director for global events and experiences for National Geographic Live. Thank you for joining us, Andrew. It's great to see you from the snowy climes of Washington, D.C. Is that right?
That's right. Thank you.
How much snow do you have so far?
Oh, a couple of inches, but it's a good heavy snow, and I got my son to work shoveling a neighbor's driveway today.
All right, terrific. Well, Andrew and I have had the pleasure of working together over the last several years, really helping to curate the speakers that we bring here to the Lone Tree Art Center. And Andrew and I don't know, you may remember these conversations, but I vividly remember on, must have been March 6th, it was a Friday, Andrew called and said, well, your speaker, Stephen Wilkes, who's coming next Friday for day to night, he's a little concerned about traveling. And I said, oh, the show must go on. He should travel. We're fine. And then I remember our conversation, probably that it might have even been as late as Wednesday before Friday the 13th, when I had to say, I'm really sorry, but we're not going to be able to move forward with the engagement, and we're just going to have to postpone it. It was really disappointing for our patrons, and of course, a lot of scrambling on our side, but I can't even imagine. This must have been going on multiple levels for you in the middle of March.
Yeah, absolutely. It was funny how quickly the world turned upside down. And of course, we apologize to patrons who were looking forward to events, not just in Lone Tree, but we actually had a speaker who was driving to an event that evening on March 13th and turned around midway. So it was such a difficult time. But and we had hundreds of events that we had to cancel due to COVID. So there's been this kind of gap for all of us where we've been wanting to do something, and we know, and we've been hearing from our our loyal fans that they've been missing the series.
Mm-hmm. We hear the same thing, from patrons who all they want to do is come into our doors and just experience concerts and events like Nat Geo Live Speakers. And so this summer, we, it should be the dictionary word of the year, pivoted. We pivoted several times in order to be able to offer live performances. And you probably were getting tired of seeing emails with my name on them in your inbox, just saying, what are the plans? What's happening? Please let us know, because as soon as we can pick back up, we'd love to be able to do that. So all the time we were spending talking about how we were going to be ready to invite audiences back in and the programs we were going to offer, which we did this fall. It was really, really heartening to hear that that kind of work was also going on at the national level with National Geographic. So I would love it if you might give us a sense of what the process was and where you ended up so that we can share some great information.
Well, sure. I mean, it's funny how things kept shifting, and we kept everyone in the industry had hopes of returning at a certain point, and then those hopes were dashed, and then hopes were pushed another few months out. But it's become clear that we don't anticipate being able to return to live events until at least summer of next year, and I think that's a very common and reasonable expectation at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if a venue has the capability and if the vaccine is distributed quickly, then maybe that will happen a little more quickly. But we started thinking about, well, how can we deliver something that Nat Geo Live fans would really enjoy, something that would be special and fun. What makes National Geographic Live so special is that we bring those stories of science and adventure and exploration to life. And these are evenings that are not meant to be scientific lectures, right? These are supposed to be fun entertainments. We take you behind the scenes on assignment and expedition. So we started thinking, how could we make this dynamic work in the virtual space? And we came upon the notion of pairing individuals who had worked together or share some kind of field, so that there could be some of that honest, authentic magic between the personalities. It's the kind of magic that we see often at National Geographic headquarters when explorers come to town, and there's just a buzz in the room. And so this was a way for us to kind of share a little bit of that buzz. And I know you'll be introducing the speakers shortly, and I'm sure I'll have a few things to say about the relationships between some of these individuals.
Terrific. Well, we were, I'm going to say excited probably 100 times over the next 10 minutes, but it really is true, because unlike anything else that we do, when we have a National Geographic Live speaker in the theater, the experience doesn't end when the presentation is over. The thing that we see happening, which also is why it's going to be a while before we can do this live and in person again, is when they come into the lobby and young children who say, I want to be like you. And the speaker will say, well, here's some programs you should think about. Here are university programs. Or some teenager might say, well, I'm really kind of interested in photography. And the speaker says, well, what kind of camera do you use? And do you need any tips? And even our lifelong learners, there's just this immediate connection. And so to be able to, even in a virtual way, and we all know the virtual world now, right? But just in a virtual way, to stay connected to these stories and to this really fascinating discovery is, I think, the best solution we can come up with now. And so we're really grateful to you and to all of the partners at National Geographic Live for being creative and creating something that we know that our patrons in particular are really going to enjoy. And one of the things they're going to like a lot is they're going to see some familiar faces. So I'm excited now. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the speakers, but really briefly, the format of the virtual event. Can you just give us a quick rundown of that?
Yeah, absolutely. And mind you, in order to do justice to National Geographic Live, how do you not have it live? And I've participated in a number of these kinds of virtual events, and many of them were pre-recorded, and it's kind of obvious that they are. We set a line in the sand that if we're going to do this, we're going to find a way to do it live. And so that's exactly what the experience will be like. While we'll certainly have a tiny bit of pre-recorded content for safety and just to make a good experience, the event will be live from start to finish, and we will be taking your questions and sharing those live with the speakers. So, and unlike a normal Nat Geo Live event where the Q&A is only at the end, we'll be taking questions throughout the evening.
Oh, wow. Well, that should stimulate a lot of really interesting conversation. By the way, if any of you watching have any questions for us, please feel free to put them into the comment section. We don't have any sound effects for the Facebook Live, so I don't have any drum roll or anything like that. But I will tell you that from January through March, beginning in late January, we will have 3 National Geographic Live virtual events. They're going to be on select Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You heard Andrew say it's going to be a live curated performance. And so it's a little bit earlier for us because we're not in Washington, D.C. And it's just going to be a wonderful way for us to engage in a new and a different way with National Geographic Live. So our very first date is going to be January 20th. And on January 20th, Life on Other Worlds. This, I believe, is a illustration of the newest Mars rover that will touch down in 2021. And when I say Mars rover, hopefully many of you will automatically turn towards our very first live Nat Geo Live speakers, who was the inimitable Kobe Boykins. So Kobe Boykins, who worked on the Mars rover, I believe on Curiosity, and just came with a wealth of information and stories, will be joining us. And with him will be Kevin Hand. Kevin Hand is also joining us again. Kevin was talked about life on the moons of Jupiter, and between the two of them, and I know Andrew will add a little color commentary for me, they'll be talking about the search for ancient life, the search for signs for potential of life in space, and to have the two of them together is really, I think, going to make for some lively conversation. Anything you'd like to add, Andrew?
I mean, this couldn't be more fun. For any of you who were at the event with Kobe Boykins or the one with Kevin Hand, you know what big personalities these gentlemen are. And I'll be moderating that event. And I expect not to have to say hardly a word, because once we press play on those two individuals, they will go, go, go. Right. They're a lot of fun. And yeah, so as many of you know, there's a rover on its way to Mars now that's due to land in February. So Kobe will be sharing a lot about the science they hope to collect with that new rover, Perseverance. And Kobe and Kevin are actually collaborating on the Europa lander mission that is, so there's a Europa Clipper mission, Europa lander mission. There's a whole lot of things. Get Kobe started and he'll start listing every mission he's excited about. But truly amazing individuals. And you'll really enjoy it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, we're going to follow that up. We're going to come back down to Earth in February, right? So on February 24th, who doesn't love a dinosaur? Reimagining Dinosaurs. We will be featuring that particular virtual event on February 24th. Again, welcoming back one of our favorite speakers, Nizar Ibrahim. You may remember that Nizar discovered a Spinosaurus, a world's largest dinosaur. Carcass is not the right word. I apologize. It's a skeleton in the sands of Morocco. So Nizar will be back, and joining him will be Sebastian Rosadia, who is also a paleontologist. And they'll be talking about what really seem to be new discoveries about dinosaurs, things we thought were true about them. Some of the things that we've discovered are even a lot more unusual than we thought.
Yeah, the magazine just did a whole feature in the October issue called Reimagining Dinosaurs, and we're taking a page from that. What's so interesting about the work of Sebastian and Nizar is that they both work in areas of the world that are not known for fossils. Most of the fossil record comes from North America or Europe or China. They're working in Africa, South America. So some really interesting finds from the Cretaceous period. And they'll also talk a little bit about the art and how you express dinosaurs to the general public. One of the interesting things, you showed the image of Spinosaurus, which is actually a slightly altered image because of the new understandings over the past few years about new fossils have emerged of Spinosaurus, and Nizar will share a little bit about that process.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Then on March 31st, we go to the bottom of the ocean, mysterious seas. So our National Geographic Live speakers who have focused on underwater photography, underwater exploration, have been incredibly popular for us, I would say, and I am not an oceanographer or a marine biologist, but a lot of the images we've seen have been from the top of the middle of the ocean. I'm sure there are real scientific terms for that. The really exciting thing about this particular event is that it really talks about deep sea. What can we find there in the dark? And we have two marine biologists. It's Diva Amon, who is a deep sea biologist, and David Gruber, who discovered the first biofluorescent sea turtle. That was, I believe, a biofluorescent seahorse that you just saw. So he's found a biofluorescent zoo in the deep seas. At any rate, I'm sure that that's going to be a fascinating evening.
Yeah, these are terrific individuals, and they're so much fun. David is studying biofluorescence, and it's actually more common than you would imagine. In addition to bioluminescence, and these are ways that animals can communicate in low light. David is a Renaissance man, and he studies a whole host of different kinds of topics. So you'll really be intrigued to learn about a robotic project he's working on, developing squishy fingers to study jellyfish without harming them. And Diva's one of the bravest and greatest voices in ocean conservation today, studying the deep sea and the impacts of some of the digging, fishing, and mining techniques that are at risk in the oceans.
Mm-hmm. Lots of great stuff coming up over the next 3 months, and if I think there's one thing that all of us have discovered, it's that we can continue to reinvent and be creative, and as the pandemic runs its course, takes its time, whatever it does, I'm sure that even if it means there might be another slate of virtual events that need to be rolled out, that may be a possibility to get us through the summer. We ultimately want to get to the point where we can welcome these extraordinary speakers, scientists, explorers, and storytellers back to our stages live. But in the meantime, to be able to engage with them and to continue to spark that curiosity and that sense of wonder is really a gift to us and to all of our patrons at the Art Center. We will be selling the series, all three together as a series. You can get tickets already online at our website. You can also call our box office tomorrow starting at 10 if you'd like. And I do hope that you'll join us for these really extraordinary National Geographic Live virtual events. They sound beautifully curated, especially the first one moderated by a genius. And we will just have a chance to really maybe harken back to the old days when we were sitting back and just sort of with our jaws dropped at the images and the stories that we heard. Any last words you want to share with us, Andrew? Anything that...
Sure. Well, I just want to echo. We can't. No one can wait to be back in the theater more than me. I'm really looking forward to that. But in the meantime, please join us. I think these events will be a lot of fun, and I promise you'll learn something new. And even for the folks that you may have seen before at Lone Tree Arts Center, and we couldn't do this work without organizations like Lone Tree Arts Center. So thank you, Lisa.
Of course.
I think you'll really enjoy hearing updates from them. So please buy tickets and join us.
Awesome. Well, we hope that you'll all see us on January 20th, as Andrew is the moderator for our first Nat Geo virtual experience. That is going to be the space-based. I just lost it. Life on Other Worlds. Life on Other Worlds. Thank you so much for joining us, Andrew, and for giving us a lot of detail about these particular special opportunities for us. We're looking forward to welcoming all of you to our virtual events and in every other way. We thank you so much for your support. Hope you have a great holiday season. Best of luck in the new year, and see you on January 20th. Thank you.
Thank you.